Hello, I'm Toycat and welcome back to the third channel Walk and Talk video. Today I'm in an arboretum in Bellingham, Washington, and I wanted to talk about something that it'll feel like life is doing to you sometimes, because right now we are walking downhill. I don't know how clear or obvious that is, but it feels like we're going downhill at an alarming pace. And it's interesting because something about climbing mountains that is just inherent is when you go up them, you have to come down the other side. But it never seems obvious until you're at the top and you're like, oh, yeah, walking downhill sucks. For some reason, human legs, like when you're on a bike, it's amazing when you make it to the top of a mountain because you know you got the wheels and the spin coming up ahead of you. Even as a car, it's been fun just to speed limit's 25, but the hill takes you up to 45. That's legal because you're not the one driving the car at 45 miles per hour, I hope is how the law works here. And we'll find out if that's true based on the tickets I do or don't get, huh? I did accidentally run for a red light. Is that like a, is that a crime? I know it's a crime, but is it like does every intersection have cameras or not? We'll find out, won't we? Anyway, speaking of things we'll find out, in case you're curious as to why I end up in places with walks, one of the reasons I like nature, because honestly, nature's just urban environments, but built less for humans and more for squirrels and bears. The reason that I like nature, one of the reasons that I like nature, is because of the fact that it's this like different environment to what you're used to, and there's something about different environments that helps the human mind in a way that I can't fully explain. I think that finding beautiful, you can't see because of the exposure, but finding beautiful things like that mountain range in the background, or these trees that look like they're from a foreign planet as far as my perspective is concerned, is really, really interesting to me, because it makes me realize that there is a whole different world out there that I've just not been looking at because I don't live next to it, because it isn't in front of me every single day. And that whole different world that I'm not looking at because it's not in front of me every single day is where some of the ideas that I kind of need to keep my very existence on the internet going come from. As I've said before, I think what I really do for a living, it's not what you assume it is when you look from the outside. I make videos and I talk to the camera for 20 minutes or 10 minutes or 30 minutes depending on the channel and the content. It's actually coming up with the ideas that are interesting enough that people will click it, and then delivering enough on those ideas that they choose to continue and keep watching the video. You need to, I think there's this thing called the entertainment curve, where you need to lure people in, you need to strike them hard, and then naturally you're gonna dip a little bit, and then you gotta come right back with and here's some other things you didn't click the video for, but now yeah, this is good too. That's to me the ideal engagement curve for a video, is you get your question answered, but then also you get more questions that you also want answered, and you know that I'm the one who's gonna answer them, and you hopefully like me enough to stick around and watch that. And so, guess we're heading downhill even more here. One of the things I like about nature is it seeing different environments, being in different places, helps with ideas in a way I find to be useful. I think that urban environments are great for functionality. They're built for humans. We build these concrete jungles, as we call them, and they're really good for humans and all the human needs that we have on a day-to-day basis. But something counterintuitive is that creativity, something that we've never really needed in nature. We as humans are hunter-gatherers that only one day accidentally worked out farming and fire, and used those two things together to build a civilization where basically no one has to focus on food production. You have to maybe take food from the store and turn it into real food, right? But you don't have to focus on how I don't know how turnips are grown. You plant them in the ground and then water gets on there, and then I'm assuming 30 days later or a year later, maybe a few years later, you have a turnip. I don't know how turnip production works. I love potatoes. All I know though is you throw some amount of a potato in the ground, and then once a year more potatoes pop out from that potato. I don't understand that, and I don't need to, because it's not my specialization in life. And so yeah, one of the cool things about this specialization that I don't know about things is that people are freed up to work on all sorts of weird little roles out there. I mean, I sometimes think about all the different job roles we have in society, because even the most basic ones, like, okay, so farmer, yeah, a farmer is very specialized. They have all these machineries to help them in growing potatoes or cranberries or whatever. I visited a very nice cranberry farm last week, by the way, very good. But you know, realizing how many tools and specializations and how it really was a year-round job to farm. I assumed you threw crops in the ground, you know, you made sure there weren't any geese eating them, and then that's your job for the year. But no, apparently it's more complex than that. And who would have figured? Not me, until I went to a cranberry farm, at least. And so as a result of people being very specialized, there are weird jobs like, I don't know, even plumber, someone whose job it is to work on the water fittings that let your, you know, your waste out of your house and allow you to drink clean fresh water whenever you want it. There's this, I heard something funny on the internet that's like, you know, socialism is this like weird, quirky, you know, like I'd say this is true for both ends of the political spectrum. People who are super far left and super far right, they're not real people in the sense that they, you know, live in society and they work there, etc. They're teenagers on the internet, like, who surround themselves with other teenagers on the internet who have similar views to them, until they get to like the most ad absurdum point of view. You know, there aren't socialist electricians and you know, communist there's no you know, like there's no libertarian HR department head, right? Because they would believe their very job title is meaningless, and that's why it's so funny that the Ron Swanson, I think his name is in Parks and Rec, right? It's like a libertarian working in the government, or who doesn't believe in the government's authority, or that's why the idea of a communist bricklayer is so funny, because like, yeah, that's memes, isn't it? And so the idea that these specialized jobs, because even being a bricklayer is pretty specialized when you think about it. It's a very basic job that most people can learn to do, basically at least, but you get more into it. Same with plumbing. You'll learn about the different fitting types, the different trap types. My friend's a plumber, and when he told me about the fanny trap and he showed me what it looked like, I laughed. It's the one that like has a little squelch so that it only works one way rather than the other. It's a clever fitting and it has a funny name, and that's all I remember about plumbing. But he went to school for, I'm assuming he went to school for plumbing. He learned how to plumb, I'm guessing, at some point. And it's kind of crazy that he did that. And so in the same way these people learn these things, something you can't really learn from other humans is this creativity, this like building things from your brain from scratch and trying to make them in the world. I guess what I'm really describing here is art. One of the things, I never was artistically inclined at all in school. I have zero like the kids who always enjoy drawing, even now when I see someone who's like, oh yeah, I really like drawing, here's a drawing I made, it's like, man, really, you like drawing? You find it fun to take, you know, this mental image of a thing and then to make it real? Don't you think about how much time that takes? Or, you know, like that's like mind-blowing to me. Like, it totally makes sense that like, yeah, it's this artistic part of your brain, but I don't get it. It's not my endeavor at all. I really want to walk along that wood. You know, what's stopping me, right? It's perfectly sandwiched in between those trees. So as long as it's not too wet, which it definitely is not, let's go. And so, oh God, I don't know how much I'm gonna roll it. Okay. I think it's pretty steady. And so, you know, something very interesting is that I've never been a creatively inclined person, but yeah, I find myself in a position where the biggest thing that determines how well I do in a given day of work is how creative I can be. Honestly, it's how creative I can be in probably exploiting the YouTube algorithm more than anything else. See, because, okay, my physics understanding, okay, I'm gonna jump a little bit, is that the further along I walk on this, the more counterbalance is gonna be lost, and the heavier I'm effectively being, because of leverages and whatever. And, you know, let's keep going. I want to walk to the edge, but I've only got one hand because of this camera. And you know what? This is sad. This is why I need the head mount, which you're actually attached to right now. I'm just using as a extended camera mount. But, yeah, one of the things, I have no balance, by the way. I'm relying on all these trees to stay afloat. But one of the things, I find myself in the weird situation of needing to be creative. And for the first few years, it's easy enough, right? You just kind of riff. You riff on your existing, you you riff on your existing successes, so on and so forth. But now I'm like 9 years, I think. No, wait, this is my 10th year of making Minecraft videos. Man, that's crazy, huh? I made one also in 2011, so you could argue 11th year, but 10th year of making them every day or multiple times a week, we could say. And something about that, first of all, man, didn't really put that together till this video. Jesus Christ, 11 years, what's wrong with me? But at this point, coming up with the new ideas is like, I kind of have to, every year or so, reinvent the wheel. Because if I do keep making the same exact videos, eventually people fade out and forget. Even people who want to stay fans and subscribers, I see people every now and then like, oh yeah, I really want to catch up, but I've been so busy. And being so busy is a real thing that happens to us all the time. But also, it's a sign of like changed priorities. When something's important to you, you make time for it. But if something's not important to you, you'll be like, oh, I really want to make time for this, but I'm just not. I really want to make time for, I don't know, fitness, like, you know, working out an hour a day or something, or even just going for walks. I don't have anything nearly this beautiful near my house in London, but I do have quite a few lovely parks with like little walks and stuff that I could go on, but I never do it because I'm so focused on other things, and I'm quite aware of that trade-off. I'm quite aware that, like, even though I say I'm just so busy and that's why I don't do it, I could make 15 minutes in the morning to go for a walk. I think I should, actually. That's a good idea. Every morning, first thing, half an hour, go for a walk in the woods. It's my new pledge to myself. We'll see if I stick to that, won't we? Give you a clue, I won't. Or I'll stick to it for like 4 days, and then you don't do it on the 5th day, and then the 6th day is just, well, I'm just continuing the 5th day trend. And then and then that's how you lie to yourself and you get to the stage that you're at. Anyway, so I'm at the stage now where like actually coming up with the idea for what to do is like so much more important than doing the thing, and it's very stressful to me in a way that I wish wasn't true. That's why I kind of think sometimes about, what about instead of having these one-off ideas, I come up with some series idea. I've wanted to for a while talk about economics and finance here on this channel. It's something I'm fascinated on. Well, in this little break I've been taking a 2-week break to like straighten things out. It's January. I mean, it's not January at all, but it was the end of January. You know, it was January when I wanted to go on this trip, and it was the end of January by the time I was testing negative, so I could go on the trip. You know, which is a bummer. It's January and I'm on this little trip, and one of the things I like about it is like it's a time to reset, have like none of the usual daily tasks to help you find new ones that you want. Some of my daily tasks have been dumb, like I've been getting a donut. Honestly, I've been getting free donuts in the morning sometimes, and I feel so fat all day, and it's like, well, that's not a good task. It's better to be productive than to eat free donuts most of the time. And so I'm gonna let someone pass and not be too strange, I think, is my plan here. So how's the weather, huh? It's pretty cold here. Thin trail to have passing on. Anyway, a lot of consequence if you get it wrong too. Anyway, I think that one of the, I think actually it'd be better if I keep talking to myself as I go past. I sometimes try to balance the like being socially correct with talking to a camera. In America especially, I feel very calm with just like talk to the camera. You know what? It's fine. You're allowed to be crazy here in a very different way. Which is maybe bad for some people, maybe good for others. Anyway, so I think about like new series that I love to do and talk about and stuff. And I think ultimately like working out the framework where I can do my bit, you know, the interesting bit to me, while having someone who can work on editing and doing the you know, the other stuff. Maybe even scripts at this point, right? Like that's a viable concept. These are like big decisions that I have to work on. I guess it's something that I've been planning. So where do I like areas? I like the creativity of it all. And if you have anything that helps you with ideas, I'd love to hear about it, because I'm at this point, I love to pretend that like everything I do is so unique and special. But at this point in YouTube, where like any channel that is above a certain size, you have an editor, you have probably multiple editors, honestly. It's very weird, the world that we're heading towards on YouTube. And I don't fully understand it, but I think I'm just at least trying to admit what I'm in right now. Man, the lighting is good here on this camera. Good job, GoPro. You know, and one of those things I'm trying to admit is that actually, yeah, even like if someone else writes your script and someone else edits your video, are you just a presenter at that point? You know, am I still the YouTuber? Just to clarify, no one writes scripts for me on the main channel or the second channel. Probably not the third channel. I don't think I like following scripts. I think I'm much better at like, here is a list of ideas, I'll communicate those. But the if someone else is writing your notes, someone else is editing your video, someone else is doing the strategy on engagement and thumbnails and stuff, are you still the YouTuber? Or are you just the presenter? Are you the owner of the business at that point? And I've spoken before about my struggles with the idea of business and what do you pay someone fairly, you know? And the more it starts to feel like a corporate thing, the more it starts to make me uncomfortable about like answering those questions in big ways. And so let's hope that it never comes to that. Let's hope that exactly now is how things stay forever. I don't think it is going to be that way, which is why I need ideas about the future. And if you have ideas on how to get ideas, let me know about those. Don't tell me about your actual ideas. I hate your ideas. If I hear someone else's idea, even if it's something I already want, I'm like, well, that must be stupid. And so don't tell me about ideas because you'll just ruin them for me. But tell me about ideas. That's, you know, sometimes that's why I like people, right? I like ideas. Tell me about your ideas in the comments down below. For now though, I think I'm back to civilization. That was a long walk. Google Maps said it'd be 20 minutes, but here I am a full 45 minutes later, and I'm on some random residential streets. See, would it be cool to live somewhere like this, where you're like literally seconds away from such a long nature walk? Or is this hell? There's another idea about ideas for you. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this video, because I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye. I won't really. Oh, is that a dog over there? It is a dog. Oh, are those chickens? Oh, those are chickens. Okay, we're gonna go look at the chickens. I lied about goodbye. Is it rude to look at someone else's chickens? I mean, there's a fence. I'm looking through the fence. And that's okay, I think. Oh, they really do just have chickens. See, you don't have this in the city. Why don't people just own chickens? Isn't that cute? Do chickens like people, or is he gonna run away from me? That's adorable. I wish I had chickens. Look how cute this one is. He's a black little chicken. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed the video. Third channel. Don't care. Bye.